will call the meeting to order. Roll call's been taken. And I have a mover and seconder for the approval of the sanitary board minutes from September 12th and the 10th of October.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have the sanitary board / MS board petitions, communications, and public hearing. Is there anybody here for a public comment? Okay, next we'll go on to the Milford Street area upgrades. Is there an update?
Yep, good news on that contract. It's moving along pretty well. The contractor has all the sewer line installed, sanitary sewer, and they will be working on storm sewer this week and next. And they should be wrapping up pretty soon. They're going to try and finish all the paving before the temperature drops significantly, and they hope to get it done this year.
Perfect. And the Arlington sewer extension?
We're still waiting on that one. We'll start our field layout after phase 5 design is complete. On phase 5A, we're continuing to work on the design for the wastewater plant with Drew. We've got some of the I&I video investigation work scheduled for this contract, and Dan talked to DEP and they kind of gave us a verbal, and we're trying to get a meeting set up with them, but we might have a way to save additional costs on that project. Jason Billups at DEP said we can bid the water and sewer contracts together, the work together, and that would reduce on the restoration costs, especially in the downtown area.
And the phase 5B?
Phase 5B, the funding request change was submitted to IJDC and it will be reviewed this month. And we also submitted a facilities plan for final review to DEP at the end of last month. We should have comments back this month.
Perfect.
One thing I forgot to send to Kelly for the agenda was the contractor on the Milford Street project submitted an invoice. I don't know if I could have that, or I don't know if I could present that today or if we needed to wait till next month.
Just approving an invoice. Just approving an invoice for payment.
Yeah, for pro contracting.
As long as you guys sign off on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you guys have to approve the invoice, basically.
Yeah, I went through the invoice with our inspector that's been stopping out
How
there.
much is it?
It's for $135,200.07.
Tim, can we approve that without it being on the
Should be
agenda?
on the agenda for next month.
So
Is that okay?
put it on for next month.
Yeah,
Okay. Alrighty, I'll let them know.
thank you.
Thanks.
Next, we have the consideration of a sewer adjustment for the town of Amor in the amount of $5,003.75.
Can I share that? I have the copy that was provided by Kim with the calculations using our standard adjustment for leaks. And I guess she is requesting that we approve a adjustment in the amount of $5,003.75. And I will so move.
Perfect.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have reports. Mr. Limbo, do you have anything?
Nothing.
Mr. Farley?
Yeah, I just had one thing. I noticed the PEIA is considering a pretty substantial increases in the premiums this year. I guess they're having their public meetings. I think that they're looking at a 13% increase for state municipal employees that are covered under PEIA. And I was going to ask him, or didn't know if the sanitary board had included an increase in the budget, because I looked at the total insurance in the sanitary board is $253,000. So a 13% increase would be almost $33,000. So I didn't know whether that was going to facilitate a budget revision, and I'm sure in the case of the city, it would be even greater. But I didn't know whether that was already there. I was going to ask him, but if not, we need to. And it may end up being 20%. It may end up being 10%. But I know there's definitely going to be an increase, and it's going to be phased over 5 years too. So I think we're going to try to have somebody speak at our next MFOA meeting from PEIA, basically to talk about their financial situation actuarially, and then also what the board's plans are for the future, because basically those could be pretty hefty, I think. So that's all I have.
I will follow up with Kim as well to find that out.
I'll mention it too.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Drew?
For the month of October, we had no violations to report. We treated approximately 201 million gallons of wastewater. We received an additional 177,425 gallons of septic, and we generated $12,815.53 in revenue. The new auger for the vortex gritter has come in. We're expecting to begin installing it after the holidays. Working on funding for the RAW number 2 VFD. I just talked to Anthony about it. The compliance inspection report was received from our 2-year inspection in July, and there were no deficiencies to report. Our pre-treatment inspection report was also received. We had 2 deficiencies. They're not really deficiencies in our sewer ordinance. I've reached out to Mr. Stranko, and we have until March to get these corrected, and there's just paper.
Thank you. Mr. Stranko?
Very briefly, Madam Chair, as far as what Drew just talked about, yeah, I wouldn't call them deficiencies. I would call them just paperwork corrections that need to be made. There's no violation cited, and we have, as Drew mentioned, till March 2024 to get that straightened out. So, and no impact on our customers significantly. So I just want to remind you that the rate adjustment that council passed through second reading is now pending at the Public Service Commission. We've had no appeals or protests filed by any of our customers, so they'll be effective on, assuming the PSC doesn't intervene between now and 1 December, those rates will be effective on 1 December. That, subject to your questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Tom? Do you have anything? Ashley?
All I had was we're gathering information from our office and other city offices right now to file for our MS Board annual permit. We have to do that every year. Patricia Escarosa's helping us with that. We're trying to get everything together for her by the 20th of November. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Hyman?
Nothing to report.
Can I have a mover and seconder to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
She should